champions. What's up? Hearty welcome to you to Savage on Saturdays, folks. I hope you're ready to bring it. This is going to be a very quick sprint because, you know, the 6th edition is slamming. Even Pimpy's shaking in his shoes because I've got stuff brewing in the kitchen. I'm loading up stuff to get people who are going for the 6th, get some serious ammo. You can see Pimpy has got some opposition now because what I'm about to do for the 6th is going to be so sick, Pimpy isn't going to know where he is. Right, Pimpy? Yeah, you better say yeah, Pimpy. Because people studying the 6th edition don't even sign up for no course right now because I've got some crazy stuff that's going to hit. So we're going to counteract the 6th with some sick course that's going to catch the 6th by surprise and put everyone who needs to get certified in the fast lane. So, Pimpy, you're shaking in your shoes, aren't you?
Yes.
Uh-huh. You got the stormtrooper and the little man. He's not so little anymore, is he?
No.
Uh-huh. All right, well, welcome to Savage on Saturdays. This is where we get savage, and this is where we load up, get the PMBOK guide into our veins, into our system. And like I said, it's going to be a sprint today because it's not going to be the usual 3 hours because I'm deep in the middle of the PMBOK Guide 6th edition cookout. We're cooking stuff in Praizion, putting stuff together, trying to counteract this bad boy here, Pimpy, who is the embodiment of the PMP exam. So there's a lot of stuff going on. But I'd like to welcome you. So how are you today? How you doing? What's new? Have you killed the exam, those of you who were here last week? Has there been any progress? Hopefully you're killing it, right? You're getting certified, those of you who have been on the calls, and you're making traction. So let's see which of our friends is here. We can see Anand, thank you. Marwan, Misman, good to see you. MQ, good to see you. Atif, my good friend, good to see you. Adibola, good to see you. El Cook, Andy, the man of the hour. How you doing, man? That tool that you created is causing a buzz, man. You just stepped up the game to get PMP certified. People don't even know what that thing is. They don't know what hit them when they saw that thing. If you haven't watched the video of Andy's crazy tool that he did in InDesign, you might want to go watch our videos. Alejandro, good to see you. Sachi Guns, good to see you. Kim, I'm glad you could make it this morning. Thank you for coming. And everyone else who is on this meeting. Trips My Trigger, good to see you. Thank you for coming. And everyone else, an absolute pleasure to see you all. So let me get Pimpy out of the way. Pimpy, you're going to be sorely beaten by these folks. Did you even say hello to them?
Hello, PMPs to be.
He sounds miserable because he knows that he's going to be beaten up by you guys. Stay there, Pimpy. And the stormtrooper and the little man, they've got him under control. You know, like when you've got ammo, like I talk about getting loaded up, now Pimpy's shaking in his shoes because he knows that people are loading up on the PMBOK guide and they're going to beat him up big time. All right. So we've got a little treat as usual. We've got some PMP gold that we're going to drop. And I'm not sure if our man of the hour for this week, Vijay, is around because Vijay has got some really interesting lessons for us. And we're going to move into our PMP Boss Pure Gold series. And those of you bosses who are on the call, those of you who have already gotten certified, don't relent in chatting in and encouraging those who are on this conference. Hello, Nath. Thank you very much for joining today, and everyone else. Okay. So the gold for the day is from Vijay Selvaraj, and Vijay is quite a remarkable student. I'm not sure if Vijay is on, but Vijay is one of those people who decided to go for the CAP-M first. So he went for the CAP-M, killed the CAP-M, went for Project Plus, killed Project Plus, and then decided to go for PMP. So he went for PMP, and he's now a PMP and a CAP-M, which is kind of cool. So he went for both. And I'm going to show you his lessons really quick. He says, start dumping the following, which may be useful in answering the questions. He says, dump the formulas of EVM. If you don't know the TCPIs and the EACs and the BACs and the VACs and all that stuff, hopefully you do before you get into the exam, because this is definitely going to be a good nerve calmer, as he says. He says, do this to calm your nerves. Number of communication channels, present value and future value. There hasn't been too much buzz about that, but I guess maybe 1% of the noise, alludes to something from that domain. Triangular, beta, and so on. And Tuckman's, he means Tuckman's ladder of team formations. Forming, norming, performing, adjourning, calls it FSNPA. And FSNPA, understanding what comes first and knowing the definitions cold is so important. Know your definitions cold. If you don't know the definitions for that, you want to go read up the PMBOK guide. And then he also says communication models, decode, transmit, encode, acknowledge, feedback, the order of events. He says don't get mixed up. He says the above thing shouldn't take more than 10 minutes, and this would also allow you to settle your nerves. He's got a point there. And he says the first 10 questions might be tricky and confusing, especially because of your anxiety levels. Don't panic. So I can speak to that. My first 20 questions, an absolute nightmare. I'd already said I'm going to fail this exam. I'd already written everything off. But as I began to ease more into the exam, I realized, hey, wait a minute. Maybe I can look for another way of escape and look for a workaround. So I went to question 200 and started working backwards. You see? So the first 10 questions might be tricky. Just remember this, and confusing, especially because of your anxiety levels. Don't panic. And he's got an absolutely great point, because I remember for my exam, I was in huge panic mode. By the time I got to question 3 and there was nothing familiar, I was really, really in despair. So, just remember that. He says, take a break. This is big because I talked about this last week. Andy also mentioned this in his lessons. Joel also mentioned this in his lessons. Take a break every 1 hour. You can leave the hall for a water and washroom break for less than 5 minutes. So it's, the law of diminishing returns could kick in for some folks. I would recommend every 1 hour, go get a break. Come prepared, maybe with a banana, an apple, an orange, tangerines, I don't know, something. Keep it outside of the locker, and when you're on break, you'll be able to use it. And that's what he's saying. So he says, I took breaks, 2 breaks in my CAP-M and PMP exams. I had ample time and completed both the exams before the scheduled time. Says read the questions more than once and come up with one definitive answer. Importantly, don't change your answers. So true. We've seen it happen time and time again. People change their answers, and before you know it, they've gotten it wrong. Don't mark too many questions for review. Because the more you mark for review, the more likely it is that you're going to change the questions, right? All right, I can see more of our friends are joining. Sandy, Muhammad, good to see you. And Mustafa, good to see you. Udini, good to see you as well. So we're taking a look at Vijay's lessons. Vijay, are you on? Or are you enjoying the benefits of being PMP certified? Jude, good to see you. I hope you're feeling better, man. Sean, thank you for joining again. How is your course going? So we're taking a look at Vijay's lessons learned, and we're pretty much at the tail end. He says, all the very best. And I want to appreciate him for doing this because a lot of people get certified, we don't hear back from them. But Vijay, he's been in close contact with us and sending us information and trying to make sure that our folks on this call have some lessons learned. So he actually sent this a few weeks back, and we're just showing them today. So thank you very much. I've got a question to ask you guys. I'm going to read it. Your firm has been awarded a project to carry out a significant green initiative. As your project progresses, a team member requests for a change in how biomedical waste is being stored. She states that your current method violates government regulations. What does this violation mean? All right. A, there was no consideration for EEFs, enterprise environmental factors. B, there was no consideration for OPAs, organizational process assets. Or C, there was no consideration for assumptions reporting. Or D, there was no consideration for inclusions and exclusions. So, chat in. Thank you, Hassan. You're very kind. Thank you, Jude and Sandy and Nath and Mizman and Debola and MQ. Everyone is saying it's EEFs. L. Cook, good to see you. Thank you for joining us today. David, good to see you. Balaji, good to see you. Thank you for chatting that in. So here's the real deal. When you look at all of this stuff, right? Government regulations. What are government regulations? Majority of you got it. EEFs. Government regulations are part of EEFs. So it's changed to blue to show you that you got it right. Okay? So know your EEFs. Now, we could also use the method of elimination, and it will probably lead us to D and A. But in this case, we don't know for sure that every single inclusion and exclusion were not considered. So this is a bit of a weaker statement. This one, because this maps back directly to the government regulations, it is the better option. So if EEFs wasn't there and maybe we had something else, we would go with D, but in this case, A is the best. And that is how the exam is. The exam is not looking for the one singular correct option, but it's looking for the one singular best option. All right? So well done. That's just a warm-up for you. Good job. All right, let's take a look at another one here. Your firm has been awarded a contract to rebuild out part of the I-995 with a state-of-the-art low-noise asphalt. As quality is of the essence, you are concerned with a quality testing requirement. Which of the following should you consider as an input while estimating costs on this project? Is it A, B, C, or D? What should you consider? Cost of quality, cost of conformance, cost of non-conformance, or cost of poor quality? What do you think? Hey, Brian, good to see you. Thank you for joining today. So I'm getting a lot of people chatting in A's. I've got a C and an A, an A, an A, a D and a C. Okay, here's the deal. So when you get something like this, you have to know what exactly they're talking about. I'm going to refer you to the PMBOK guides. Let me open it up and get you the exact page where you're going to see this thing as plain as day. Now you have to be careful with the wording in this question, because under the cost of quality we have several facets, don't we? Right? We have several facets. So we have the cost of conformance and the cost of non-conformance. So this is done in such a way to confuse you, because those of you who know the PMBOK guide sufficiently well know that there is no input here. Okay, these are all tools and techniques, but you are going to have to go with the best of the options. So since we're already in the wrong zone as far as them all being tool and technique sounding, right? Cost of quality is on page 206. Assumptions about. All right, so we got some issues going on. No, I'm reading from the 5th edition. 5th edition. 5th edition. Yes, I am aware that the stream is being a bit weird. I really think some of these things are due to YouTube itself, because no matter what we do, you know, it seems like sometimes it just gets temperamental, because we have contacted friends at Cox. So anyway, the answer to this question, as I was saying before we got lost, was that the cost of quality, the cost of conformance, cost of non-conformance, cost of poor quality, all of these, none of these is an input. So it says, which of the following should you consider as an input? So you won't find these explicitly mentioned as inputs. This, however, the cost of quality is a tool and technique. And if you go to where it is in the PMBOK guide and you read, you can infer what the answer is, and that's on page 206. So I was saying, take a look at page 206, and I was saying it says, assumptions about cost of quality may be used to prepare the activity cost estimates. Assumptions are not tools and techniques, but they are inputs. So with that, we can infer that this is the best option. Apart from page 206, as a project manager and someone who is estimating cost, don't just think about the cost of conformance. You also need to think ahead. What if certain risks do occur? Then you're thinking about the cost of non-conformance, the possibility that there could be scrap and re. All right. I think we're back on. We're just going to be patient with YouTube for today. We're going to be patient with them because this is becoming a habit. But beyond the streaming issues, I was saying before I got cut off, page 206 and the fact that we need to observe both costs of quality alludes to A being the most correct answer, which a lot of you guys already got. Okay? So move ahead. We have PMP. Can you get out of the way, please? You're disturbing. All right. So quality audits. We are on to our tools and techniques. As you know, this is where we explore the tools and techniques in the PMBOK Guide 5th edition. So we have quality audits. Can you guys chat into me? Quality audits are used in which process? In which process do you use quality audits? Tell me. Quality audits are a tool and technique of what? PQA, very good. I can see different chats, but if you said PQA, meaning perform quality assurance, you are correct. So it is PQA, perform quality assurance. Perform quality assurance is the process. All right. So in perform quality assurance, we have the word audit, quality audits. In which other processes do we have the word audit? As you're going through the PMBOK guide, begin to distinguish between quality audits versus inspections and audits, versus any of the other audits, procurement audits, for example. All right. Let's move to our next one. We have a question again. Your firm has been awarded a project to revamp infrastructure on an abandoned land for use by the general public. A process improvement plan has been developed as a first step. What should the project manager have done as part of this process? So since we're in quality, you guys should be able to answer this sufficiently well. Is it A, quality management plan, B, process improvement plan, C, process analysis, or D, process inspection? I see a chat from Rami. Hey, thank you so much, man, for coming in today and sharing this great news, Rami. Appreciate you. Drop some gold for us, man. Tell us how long you'd been studying for and how you were able to get this done. I'm sure everyone on the call will appreciate it. Thank you. All right, getting some chats in. Some say A, some say B. Been studying for a month? Just a month? 1 month? Wow. That's a record, Rami. That's a record. That is really awesome. Well done. So if you're going to give us one piece of advice, Rami, about what we should do to get into the shoes you're in, what would that be? What's your 2 cents? Tell us. So for this question, folks, the answer is, drum roll. The answer is the one that comes along with the process improvement plan from Plan Quality Management. So the answer is A, okay? Why is the answer A? Because as part of this process where you create the process improvement plan, you also create the quality management plan, which most of you guessed. Good job. Let's move on. The next tool and technique is quality management and control tools. Quality management and control tools is a tool and technique of which process? Quality management and control tools is a tool and technique of which process? Quality management and control tools. Where do you see them explicitly mentioned? Or should I say implicitly mentioned? Where do you see them listed as the number one thing in that process? Thank you, Andy. Andy is still slamming in answers even after he's gotten certified because it's in his veins. Thank you, Robert. It is perform quality assurance. So can anyone chat in? Do you know cold what some of those are? What are some of those quality management and control tools that are talked about in this section? Anyone? Quality management and control tools. There's 7 of them, that's right. Okay. Which of them is used to group different ideas? Wow, Elsa. Yeah, I remember you, Elsa. Congratulations. We just got a chat from Elsa, and Elsa says, "Hi Phil, I just wanted to say a big thank you for all your PMP videos, especially your 40 days videos. I passed my exam, PMP exam last Thursday." That's what I'm talking about. Well done, Elsa. So Elsa, I want you to do as your fellow PMPs have done. They're chatting in how they were able to slay the dragon. So Rami has chatted in, and also Andy's on the phone, on the call. If you can chat in as well, just tell us, how did you do it? I mean, how many hours were you studying, so on and so forth. So I'm getting different answers for this one, but the affinity diagram is really what I was looking for. You're going to group your ideas, right, using the affinity diagram. There's one that sounds like a drug. Which of them sounds like a drug? It sounds like PCP. I hate to use that, but it's so funny. It sounds like a drug, and my students always make fun of that one. It's PDPC, right? The PDPC chart, right? Shows you how to get to a goal, steps getting to a goal, interrelationship diagram, tree diagrams, prioritization matrices, activity network diagrams. Now, AOA seems to not be coming in this advent of the 6th anywhere. So activity network diagrams, I'm still yet to see that in the 6th edition. Seems like it's been yanked out. Matrix diagrams, also, you know what those are. So on page 246, right, get familiar with those quality management and control tools. Lots of people use the affinity, don't they? Affinity is definitely one of those popular ones. All right? So let me just check. It seems Shayla tried to chat in some spam here, and it seems to have been weeded out by our friends at Google. So Shayla, I'm gonna have to put you in timeout, and I'm gonna have to hide you as well. So put you in timeout, Shayla, and I'm also going to limit, because we don't want you spamming people about Bitcoin and all that jazz. So Shayla, behave yourself, okay? So folks, I'm monitoring everything going on here, okay? So whenever the stream goes weird, I can see that no one can see me. So don't worry, I'm not speaking when it's disconnected. When it's disconnected, I'm just chilling and waiting out. So I'm not gonna go 100 miles an hour and no one was able to hear what I said, okay? So I'm able to monitor it, and if the stream goes weird, I can see the stream goes weird. All right, but Elsa and Rami, you might want to shoot us an email so that we can get something across to you, something to help you on your journey as a PMP. Okay? So welcome back, those of you who were kicked off the stream. Very sorry to see that the stream is messing around like this. Let's hope it behaves itself after a little while. Okay. So Rami says, first week 4 hours, second week 6 hours, third week 8 hours. What? That is crazy, Rami. Wow, you are just absorbing all of the information. That is a tough plan to follow. Thank you, Hassan. That's very kind of you. So, Barakat says, my question is, what is the difference between control quality and plan quality? And how Do we do that? Or how to carry out plan quality management? Is that your question, Bearcat? Because I'll take your question now while we're waiting for this stream to get sensible. Amjid says, I get confused most of the time between QA and QC. So let me break it down really quickly for you. 3 processes in quality. The first process is where you're asking the question, what do we need to do to manage quality on this project? How are we going to get quality under control? But someone asks a different question and says, in order to know how to manage quality, we need to know what the standards for quality are. So let's say we want to manufacture this mouse. The question on the project will be, what are the quality standards for this mouse? Someone says, well, there are ISO standards and there are a bunch of standards from other countries. So based on those standards, there's certain things we're going to have to do from a quality standpoint. We're going to have to list out all of those standards, all of those quality requirements, you know, how it's meant to look, feel, and so on. Those could all be looked at as certain quality concerns to get it right. And then the next thing is you're going to come out with 2 plans. One is a quality management plan for how to manage quality. And the second is going to be a process improvement plan for how to improve on your processes throughout this project. So you've got your 2 plans, and that is what plan quality management is all about. It's all about planning quality. Now, when you get into quality assurance, you are not yet done with this product, but as the product is being developed, you as the project manager and the team should be checking to make sure the work is going according to plan. You're checking to make sure that each manufactured component or any associated work is being done according to the plan, which means people are not deviating. If there's coding taking place, the coding is following the process. The engineering work is following the process. If there's machining work going on, it's following the process. You know, if one of the things in the process is there should be job shadowing all throughout the process to make sure that people can continue work if one person is absent, you want to make sure that that is being done. So quality assurance is checking the process. Now, quality control means this is done or components of this are complete. And that would mean checking perhaps certain subcomponents or checking at the end of the day the final assembled product. So quality assurance, checking the process. How are we doing it? How are we putting this together? Are we following the right methods? Quality control uses the word inspection. Thank you, Hassan. Inspection. So inspection is your tool and technique for quality control. Whereas having a quality audit, stopping by, impromptu, in the middle of the project, suddenly stopping by and checking to see how the work is being performed and if it's being done well, that is quality assurance. Okay? Does that help? I hope that helps you. So let's see what Elsa has chatted in. Elsa used the 40-day videos, referred to the PMBOK guide. Elsa says, I think quality assurance about improving the quality processes. That's right. Quality control about improving the products or deliverables. That is true. Sandy says, questions for folks who passed the exam. How much was the range of score you got in the mock exams? Good question. And, you know, it goes back to my point about this question. A lot of people take different mock exams, so it's not a one-size-fits-all. Some mock exams have a wide degree of variance. Someone could get an 80 and fail, then someone gets a 70 and passes. Our mock exam isn't like that. You get a 70, it's a litmus test that you're going to kill it, you know. I'm going to show you more of our champions who aced our mock exam and subsequently passed the real thing. So, yes, I am going to give you guys a little bit of something, as Hassan is asking. I am going to give you guys that link, all right? So let me do that since you're asking for it now. We have our special link that we give to our savage students who show up so early. Hey, just hang on. I've got you covered. I'm going to show it to you in a few, all right? So just hold on. It's coming. It's coming. All right. Before we go further, here's another question, because like I said, we need to kind of get this done a little bit quick. So you have been awarded a short project to install several demountable partitions for a huge company move. Parts of the installment were found to be defective after phase 3, and change requests from the customer were approved for rework. This has caused a spike in resource requirements needed to meet project schedule targets. You ambitiously released certain salaried resources, and now TCPI is a 1.43. What is the best thing to do? A, rebaseline with management approval. B, apply your contingency plan if you have one. C, request a contingency reserve from management. And D, fast track the schedule. Tell me, what do you think? Thank you very much. Got lots of people chatting in, C and D. Gonna let everyone else read. Read up. Thank you very much. Thank you, Creighton. Good to see you. All right, I'm going to give you a few more minutes. Okay. So in alignment with PMI's 200 questions in 4 hours, I'm gonna have to move on. Okay. K-Kid, good to see you. Thank you. So let's read this again. You have been awarded a short project. Let's understand the problem. You've been awarded a short project to install several demountable partitions for a huge company move. You know those huge partitions to help with the move, set them up and all that? Parts of the installment were found to be defective after phase 3, and change requests from the customer were approved for rework. So seems like we're back. Okay. So this has caused a spike in resource requirements. And that is really what I want to hone in on, okay? So I'm going to hone in on this. It's caused a spike in resource requirements. Resource requirements, hold on to that thought, okay. Now it says, you ambitiously release certain salaried resources, so you've let certain people go off the project, and now your TCPI is 1.43. What does that mean? It means that you need a lot of money. You need a lot of money. It's like you almost need half additional of the budget. So you need 1.43 times the original budget, or you need to be working 1.43 times efficient to get in at management's cost objective. So you've got a resource problem, resources cost money, you've got a money problem. That's what this is saying. Now a TCPI of 1.43, it just means that you're spending $1, but you're only getting, or you're spending $1.43, but you're only getting $1 out of your work. That's not good. You're wasting 43 cents. So we've got an efficiency problem, we've got a money shortage problem, there's all sorts of problems, money related, resource related. So what is the best thing to do? All right, so you guys were able to guess that it's a money issue, which is good. But let's take a look at the options. D, fast track the schedule. So we're going from the bottom up. Fast tracking the schedule means doing certain critical path tasks in parallel, or doing other important or near critical tasks in parallel. That is not really going to help your money problem. So right off the bat, we can cancel D. It cannot be D, so I'm canceling D. Okay? Am I frozen again? Or can you see me? I'm frozen. I think I'm frozen on you. Okay, am I back? Okay, seems like I'm back. So we're getting rid of fast track. Okay? Okay, thank you, folks. Thank you, Sandy, Elko, Creighton, Adebola, thank you. Oh, am I? You can't see me? You can see me? You can't? You can? You can? You can? Okay. So we're canceling fast track the schedule. All right. The next one, it says, request a contingency reserve from management. Which kind of reserves do you need management to give you permission for? Which kind of reserves do you need management to give you permission for, folks? Thank you, Amjid. You are absolutely correct. So Amjid says management reserve. So does Andy. And everyone's chatting in management reserve. Thank you very much. So for C to say request a contingency reserve from management, that's bogus, folks. That's not what you need to do. If you've got a contingency, it's built in and baked in. So C is actually a bogus option. So we're going to cancel C. All right? So C, if it had said request a management reserve, that would have been more credible. So always read those reserves carefully. All right? Sean is cussing, he missed it. B, apply your contingency plan if you have one. This is very subjective. Oh, I don't know if you have one, but if you do, that is so annoying. We're going to cancel it because anything that says do this if, the question didn't say I have one, so I'm not going with B. And that leaves us with the correct answer. Using the process of elimination, even without looking at it, rebaseline with management approval, because rebaselining is like, I need help. I've goofed. I've let my resources go. My TCPI is going crazy. I need help. I need to get this back down to 1, or even better still, a 0.99, just to be on a little bit of safe side. So with all the information, A is the best option. So folks, you were tricked by contingency reserve from management. Your contingency reserve is baked in. It's already an alternate plan if it's a contingency plan, or it's already baked into your task if it's a contingency reserve. So you don't need to ask management. Okay? So this is a big issue. The reason why, Sean, this is a bigger than surface issue, because it says parts of the installment were found to be defective after phase 3. And the way these things work, phase 3, we really don't know how many phases, but we can tell that this installment has already been set, right? So they're demountable, but they've been installed. But there's been a change request in addition to the defective part. So we're really in trouble money-wise and also resource-wise. So the best thing to do is rebaseline, and then if you wanted to crash, you could crash. At this point, you can't even crash because you ain't got no money. Your money horizon is not looking very bright, all right? So we can get rid of lots of this stuff by the process of elimination. B is just ridiculous, and you will get some ridiculous options like that. You will. All right? So thank you very much. It's coming, the PMP Hustle link. So I'm going to type the link into the description as I always do. So hold on. Don't go to this link just yet because it ain't going to work as it should. I'm going to type the link in, and this time we will do a refresh so that we are able to see the information. Now, there's going to be two of these links. The first one is for people who have not attended this session before, because you're going to see the stuff that a lot of other people have had access to. So bear with me as I get this to share. But for those of you who have been on this thing before, later on in the meeting, I'm going to have a new link for you. I'm going to have a new link that has got some flashcards, sample flashcards, that is. Just 10 flashcards, but I hope it gives you an idea of how you can have some fun in your study. So I'm putting this into the description box for the meeting. If you hit an F5, for those of you who are here live right now, if you hit an F5, you should be able to see the link that I typically share during the different weeks for people on the call. You can only get this link if you are on the call currently. All right? So go to that link that you see. You might need to refresh to see it. But when you refresh, you're going to see that tinyurl.com, the PMP, the Hustler link. So take a look at that link. Click on it. Take everything you find in that folder while it's out there. Suck it all into your folders, and hopefully you find use for some of that stuff. I hope you do. So let me make sure it's working. Is it working today? Yes, it is. So those of you who are new to it, I've got a bonus video out there and a few other things that you will find useful, or you might find useful. I don't know. So I hope you find value from that. So that's the first link I have for you today. Let's keep on trucking because we've got a lot more to cover. All right. So I'm going to give you a cheap question from risk management next. Probability of an event is 15%. I hope the link worked for you. Just get the link and hit download. You know what to do. Yes, Kim, that is coming before we get to the end of the meeting. We are going to be having a crazy deal. Like some people last week were able to get it, but it's only during Savage on Saturdays that you're going to be able to find this crazy deal for the PM Audio Digest. So the price it is on the site is going to be severely slashed, ridiculously slashed, that is. So Kim, before the meeting runs out, I am going to be sharing that link. All right. So, Shveta, I think you might have that link already, being that you've been on these meetings. But let's get back to the meeting. We'll take care of those problems at the end. So probability of an event is 15%. Impact is $100. EMV, you got it right. Those of you who chatted in, well done. It is indeed 15, all right? So 15. Probability, 15% times the impact, 100. Easy, easy giveaway. Easy, easy giveaway. All right, moving on. Quantitative risk analysis and modeling techniques. This is a tool and technique of what? quantitative risk analysis and modeling. I think everybody got lost in the folder. Everyone's ransacking that folder. I had very few chats for the question, but it's all good. You can always watch it. You can always watch the, the recordings, you know. You can always watch the recordings again. So Sandy says, perform quantitative risk analysis. So does Amjad. Thank you very much, folks. You are so correct. It is perform quantitative risk analysis. So quantitative risk analysis uses a model that simulates the combined effects of individual project risks. So you know where we're going with this. We're talking about a Monte Carlo that takes the effects of individual project risks and other sources of uncertainty to evaluate their potential impact on achieving project objectives. So we're talking about the Monte Carlo simulation. If you have not been to my friend's site, I've got one friend there when I say friends. But if you have not been to palisade.com, Elsa, if you've not been to palisade.com, you might want to go there. Why do I want you to go there? You could get some PDUs, you know. You could get some PDUs from Palisade, and you can also get a firmer understanding of how the Monte Carlo works. It's pretty cool. So go to Palisade, P-A-L-I-S-A-D-E, palisade.com. And palisade.com, they've got very, very interesting latch-ons or add-ons to MS Project and Excel, and really interesting company. They've been around for a while. But if you wanted to know a little bit more about the Monte Carlo to enlarge your project management and risk management coast, go there. It's quite impressive, I tell you that, very impressive. So go to palisade.com, check it out. Definitely, Andy and everybody else who's a PMP on the call, definitely check it out. You might be impressed at what they've got. So I've got a question to ask you, follow-on question from modeling techniques, because what the Monte Carlo does is it takes all of these combined effects of individual project risks and other sources of uncertainty, and it tells you, hey, this is what the outcome of the project is likely to be. It gives you a range of schedule or cost outcomes. Now, for the exam, you don't have to calculate or you don't have to all right, frozen by the stream. Frozen by the stream. You gotta love technology. I mean, what would you do with it, and what can you do with it? Good Lord. Okay. We need to report these guys to the PMI at this rate. All right, decision tree analysis. What I was trying to say before that not so polite interruption is that this is part of quantitative risk analysis and modeling techniques. And the summary is I have a question for you. All right, I'm hoping that you guys can solve this in the PMI's proverbial 2 minutes, or is it 1 minute, 12 seconds per question? Let's see. Anyway, here's the bottom line. You are the CEO of Amuse Me, Inc. Shareholders have shown interest in maximizing business opportunities in an amusement park. You have two options. Either you build a new park, invest in $8 million, or revamp an existing park, invest in $3 million. If you build a new park, there's a 75% chance of a high demand and you will realize 15 million revenues, and a 25% chance of a weak demand and you will realize 5 million in revenues. If you revamp the existing park, there's a 60% chance of a high demand and you'll realize 10 million in revenues, 40% chance of a weak demand, and you realize 2 million in revenues. Should you build a new center or upgrade? And what is the EMV of either option? Let me give you the proverbial 2 minutes and see. 2 minutes. All right. 2 minutes is coming to a close. All right. 2 minutes. So if you were on the PMP exam, would you have been able to do this? Is the question. That is the big question. Now, so you know, on some questions you could maybe choose an option in 10 seconds. So if you needed to spend 3 or 4 minutes on this, it may not hurt you as much, just so you know, of course. You probably already thought of that. So what do? We want to have branches of possibilities. New park, revamp. So hopefully you came out with an image similar to this, where you branched off, build new, and you considered the investment, and you considered the chance nodes. Strong demand, 75%, weak demand, 25%, the revenue for strong, 15, revenue for weak, 5. Now don't forget, when we're dealing with EMV, we need to consider the profit. If that's your investment and that's your revenue, find out your profit. Same for this. This is not going to be any profit, so you got a problem with this. And then you just multiply what you got. Do the same for the revamp. Come out with these numbers. Again, find the profit. So I'm going to walk you through how to apply that. Now, for those of you who did not know, this is a direct cutout from the problem that you have in the PMBOK guide on page 339. So those of you who don't know about this problem, you might want to look at that problem before you exam and make sure you know what it is, because you would have gotten stuck, you know, if you hadn't encountered this kind of decision tree problem. But anyway, let's take a look at the answers. So we're going to find the profit, like I said, and then you're going to multiply the profit by the 75%, and you're going to get 5.25 for this top one. For the bottom, do the same, multiply by 25, you're going to get 0.75 for this, 5.25 for this, then you're going to add them. We've got a minus, though, a negative, obviously. So we got a loss, right? We got a loss of minus 3. And then if you add those up, you're going to get 4.5 million. So did you guys get 4.5 million for the build new? What did you guys get as the EMV for the revamp? What did you get for revamp? Thank you, Sandy. Sandy says 3.8. Let's take a look at this and see if that's right. So strong demand, find your profit. That's 7. Multiply. You get a 4.2 for the top one. Do the same for the bottom, and then you will get a 0.4. And Sandy was absolutely correct. Well done, Sandy. That is a 3.8, just like you said. So you got an EMV of 4.5 million, an EMV of 3.8. You guys who said build new, you are correct. Just be aware on the exam, they could give you build new 4.5, build new 3.8, build new. They could combine this and the actual EMV. So you do have to know the numbers. Okay, could be tricky, but know the numbers, all right? Very well done. If you were able to pull this off and get this right, you've done well. We actually have a video. Did I get disconnected? I think I did. Again. Am I back on or am I off? Am I in the world of people who can hear? I don't know why it's, you see, YouTube is so weird. It's showing that it's frozen in one case and in the other case, and all right, I'm not frozen. Thank you. Okay. Guys, if you wanted to take a look at the long version of this, we've got a video out there on YouTube that goes through this problem, okay? I guess I'm being paranoid. Someone says we can see the moon. I'm being paranoid. Oh dear. Okay. So that is that for that. Let's move on. We've got another question. Okay, you are a project manager on an IT systems project. Am I giving you guys too much work? Because I know some people will be like, Phil, it's a study group. You're just killing us with questions. Hey? Awesome. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for chatting and letting me know. Here's the next one, folks. All right. Your project manager on IT systems project, your project charter has been signed and high-level budget and detailed risks have been determined along with their root causes and effects. What should the project manager do first? A, B, C, or D? So let me read it for those of you that may not be able to see it too well. Identify project risks with the sponsor and team, A. B. Categorize risk along with the stakeholders and team, B. Estimate the expected monetary value for risks, C. And D. Carry out a preliminary risk identification for the charter. I think I'm seeing a Teef chatting in on one of my screens. So a lot of people are saying, oh, we've got B and A, B and A, B and A. All right. So here's the deal. Your project charter has been signed, and high-level budget and detailed risks have been determined along with their root causes. So if it says, let me highlight it because we want to get into the mode of the PRO, the people at the prometric those guys, we want to get into the prometric mindset where we're going to use a highlighter. So it says, this is a keyword right here. Usually you see high-level budget and high-level risks, but that's not what this says. This says high-level budget and detailed risks. So if detailed risks have been determined along with their root causes and effects, that tells me that we have successfully carried out a particular process in risk management. And that process is what? Are we frozen? Am I moving? I think I am. So what does this tell you? Detailed risks. Which process have we done? Thank you, Rohini. Good to see you. It's been a while. Thank you, Creighton. Ms. Ma'am, thank you. Debola, thank you. You are correct. So we've done identify risks. So with what you guys have said, we can immediately eliminate A. Let's cancel A. It cannot be A, right? All right. Let's go to B. It says, categorize risks along with the stakeholder and team. So when you read the question, is there anything that alludes to categorizing risk? Because we categorize risks in a particular process known as what? Where do we categorize risks, folks? We categorize risks in the... Thank you, Creighton. You're absolutely correct. Thank you, Sandy. Yes. Thank you, Robert. Andy, quick on the draw. Thank you, Stosh. Thank you for joining us. And Deep Myth, you guys are welcome to our group. Udini, thank you. You guys are killing it, killing it, killing it. Thank you, all of you. Thank you very much. Mimi, I don't think we've met. Thank you for joining. Ashish, thank you very much. So with this said, we cannot eliminate that because you guys told me it happens in qualitative. If we are done with identify, which we inferred through what was just highlighted, then we cannot eliminate B. B comes first, qualitative, then C, quantitative. So what should the project manager do first? All right, I'm sorry about that. I was unaware that I had been disconnected. So I think I'm back now. Okay. Ernest, thank you for chatting in. Ernest says the project manager should first know what the project is. It's an IT systems project. All right, so if your project charter has been signed, right, then you do know what it is, right? So the answer, I was saying, we've eliminated A and D, and lastly C, because B and C were not bad choices, but B comes before C. We categorize risks first before we do the EMV. Okay, so I hope these questions are helping you find a few gaps here and there and firm up your confidence, you know, with stuff like this. So some folks who chose A, you now know why A isn't correct. Some folks chose C, at least now you know why those aren't correct. And when you see a question like this, you're going to be able to say, I smell rat. Sandy says, root causes and effect determining which process. So as you are identifying risks, Sandy, you want to do the format of cause, risk, and effect. So there's a format in the world of the PMI. You identify the root cause of the risk and the effect, and you've got the risk sandwiched in the middle. So risk, cause, and effect, and that's the model the PMI preaches. and definitely one you want to stick to when you're identifying risks. If you're identifying risks, the reason why you want to identify the root cause is because as you identify the root cause of the risk, there could be several risks attached to one root cause. So if you get rid of that root cause, you've gotten rid of a bunch of risks. And there's no need to continue an analysis of how do I get rid of this, because you know the root cause and it's similar. All right? Very good. Let's move on. So the answer is categorize risks along with stakeholders and team. Questionnaires and surveys. It's a tool and technique of what? Explicitly mentioned. I know we use surveys in many places, but explicitly mentioned where? So we got some clown who is typing in some illegal chats. So this individual, I'm going to have to put you in timeout because that is not acceptable. So I'm going to have to hide you so that nobody sees you on this chat anymore, because we don't tolerate such nonsense. And you're also going to get a strike. I'm going to have to report you to the PMI. Report you to the PMI. I meant to say YouTube, but I'm so into the zone of the PMBOK, I said I have to report you to the PMI. Oh dear. Okay. So you guys are correct. It is collect requirements. I'm sorry for that diversion. All these clowns who try to spam people. All right, 5.2 says Ashish. I like your style, Ashish. Ashish is giving us the reference in the PMBOK guide. You know you're high on PMBOK when you start typing in references and process names. Goodness gracious. All right, so collect requirements is the process, okay? We've got a question for you here. Your firm has been awarded a contract to rebuild out part of the I-995 with a state-of-the-art low noise asphalt. Your team members are having a technical argument. Which of the following is likely true? A, they are in performing, where all the arguments happen. B, this is storming, where some technical disagreements happen. C, they are informing, where many of the arguments happen. Or D, they are in norming, where arguments happen. Where are they? Thank you for chatting in. Okay, lots of people. So I can see the hiccupy picture. Hiccuping, 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 hiccuping. YouTube, what am I going to do with you guys? I think I need to report you to the PMI as well. So you're right. Those of you who chose B, it is correct, okay? This is storming, where some technical disagreements happen. This is what Vijay was saying in his lessons learned. Know these so when you see them, you don't get confused. Read the definitions 3-4 times because it will help you, okay? It will help you, okay? So storming is where those arguments and powwows happen. Okay, moving on. Recognition and rewards. No wonder they all look happy. Recognition and rewards. Where do we use recognition and rewards? Is it in conduct procurements? Is it in control procurements? Is it in managed stakeholder engagement? Control stakeholder engagement? Mimi says DOT. Those are one of my clients. I never thought that that was a process as well. Well, thank you for the revelation of that. Department of Transport. And develop team. Or did you mean DPT? DPT, Develop Project Team. All right, you're correct. Develop Project Team. Develop Project Team. Okay, good. DPT is the acronym. Yeah, I would have known if it was DOT. DPT. All right, my friend from DOT, speaking of DOT, I'm not sure if you're on the call today, but if you are, let us know, okay? Here we go. Records management system. Also a tool and technique of two processes at the tail end of the PMBOK guide. Procurement. You know where they are used in procurement? Giving you a clue. Thank you very much, Rohini and Sandy. Sandy nailed both of them at one go. Sandy, you are on some sort of steroids. So when is your exam, Sandy? Let us know. I'm curious to know at this point because you are knocking some stuff out of the park in a major way. I hope you come and drop some gold when you kill that beast. All right. Control procurement and close procurement. Very good. That is where the records management system is used. Now, folks, records management system versus information management system. Records management system, procurement, information management system, communications, delineate between records. Records are for procurement. Keep that in mind, at least in the world of the PMI. All right, yes, the font is very light. Control procurement and close procurement. All right, thank you, Ernest. All right, here we go. Midway into your project, there is a huge spike in labor costs as more project scientists were required than thought necessary. Since this was an unexpected development not previously identified, management has given you express permission to apply reserves to your project situation. What does this describe? Is it A, project acceptance using contingency reserves? Is it B, unidentified risk emergence and fallback plans? Is it C, applying a workaround? Or is it D, a contingent response strategy? I'm going to give you 1.5 minutes for this one. Ernest says layoffs. Oh, that is funny. Thank you for your chat, folks. Thank you. I was saying welcome to AS and Namdeo. Thank you for chatting in, and I hope you're enjoying those mock exams. I think you've taken one of them, not both, right, Namdeo? You got the marathon mock to take, I think. I'm looking forward to you taking that one. All right, so the answer to this question is, let's use process of elimination. All right, so I need to point something out to you. I need to highlight. So let's go into our highlighter mode. Thank you, folks, for chatting that in. Thank you, Rohini, Atif, Creighton, Sandy, Sachiguns. Thank you very much. I am going to use the process of elimination with you guys. And I'm also going to use my highlighter. So it says, midway into your project, there is a huge spike in labor costs as more project scientists were required than thought necessary, okay? Than thought necessary, okay? Since this was an unexpected development, ooh, unexpected development. We need to highlight that. An unexpected development. If you guys missed unexpected development, you may or may not get the question correct. And here's the final one. I don't know why it went into hiding. I'm not sure if you had option D. Did you have option D? Now you have all the options, A, B, C, and D. Did I show you option D or not? I'm sorry if I didn't. but there it is. Okay. So let's read. Unexpected development not previously identified. Oh, let's not previously identified. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Alejandro. So management has given you express permission to apply reserves to your project situation. Management, and then the word reserves. Can you guys tell me what reserves has management given you the permission to apply? What kind of reserves would that be? Thank you, Robert. What kind of reserves? Known unknowns. Thank you, Ashish. Yes, unknowns. Okay. So what are the reserves that we can attach to the oscillating image here? Let's hope it. All right. So I think it's back. Let's hope the stream stays sensible. I'm going to have to have a next conversation is going to be with the folks at Google. All right, so if we read this, folks, there are some keywords that are going to enable you eliminate. So why don't we try to eliminate right now, okay? So it says, has given you express permission to apply reserves. And as Ashish chatted in, these are unknowns, right? Okay, so these are unknowns. Yeah, I can see it on my screen too. I'm going to try and be a little bit slow so that no one is lost, so that you really get. This question is a rather important one. So I'm going to try to slow down. Dolores, thank you for joining. It's good to see you. Nice and early. Welcome, welcome. So let's read this again. All right, so it says, management has given you express permission to apply reserves. Let's start from the bottom. So if management has given you the permission to apply reserves, then we know that these are unknowns, okay? And it says a contingent response strategy for D. Contingent response strategies, I have to read this to you in the PMBOK guide, because a contingent response strategy alludes to something that is known. Also, if we read the top, it says, more project scientists were required than thought necessary since this was an unexpected development, not previously identified. It means the risk was not previously identified. So you're dealing with a new risk that has not been previously identified. So contingent response strategies, if you go to your strategies, contingent response strategies on page 346, it reads, and of course I'm in the 5th edition, okay? It reads, some responses are designed for use only if certain events occur. For some risks, it is appropriate for the project team to make a response plan that will only be executed under certain predefined conditions, if it is believed that there will be sufficient warning to implement the plan. Events that trigger the contingency response, such as missing intermediate milestones or gaining higher priority with a supplier, should be defined and tracked. Now it goes into risk responses identified using this technique are often called contingency plans or fallback plans. See the word contingency plan, fallback plan, and include identified triggering events that set the plans in effect. So what we're gleaning from this is previously identified. So D has to go. C states, all right. So I saw as we were in the middle of crossing out an option, the system went a little bit crazy. So let's get back into it. So I crossed out contingent response strategy based on what I read And now I was about to read applying a workaround, the definition for workaround, PMBOK guide, page 567. So if you go to page 567, under workaround, it says, a response to a threat that has occurred for which a prior response had not been planned or was not effective. In this case, had not been planned. They didn't even see it coming. So from this, we can say workaround can be left on the table. Let's not get rid of workaround. Okay? Workaround is plausible. Let's look at B. Unidentified risk emergence and fallback plans. But we just read under contingent response strategies that the workaround, not the workaround, the contingent response strategy is for something that we've already identified and identified triggers for and so on. An unidentified risk cannot have a fallback plan because you didn't even know the risk could occur. You didn't even foresee the risk. So we can get rid of B. B has to go. One more, A. It says project acceptance using contingency reserves. Risk acceptance would have even been a more plausible option, but project acceptance and contingency reserves, that's senseless. That's just a decoy. Red herring. Let's get rid of that. And the answer, folks, is applying a workaround. So I am hoping that this helps you. Okay? Robert says page 206 contains management reserves as well. It contained the talk about management reserves. Oh, under reserve analysis, yes. So it goes into, those management reserves on page 206. Yes, yes, yes. So I hope you guys were able to follow along. I hope I gave you the correct page references for those contingent response strategies as well. Because if you read that up, you'll be able to get these questions about workarounds. Yeah? So I will probably do that. So let me give you a very basic, easy example. So risks like a residual risk. I've actually got some more sensible ones, but a residual risk, you're mopping up the floor, to get rid of some dirt, but some dirt still remains. Or you are, let's say you put a barricades to prevent people from getting hurt. But the barricade now ends up being a risk in itself. That would be a secondary risk. But there are lots of other examples. I just can't think of them right now, but I will bring those up probably in a future meeting. But yes, Ashish, that is a tricky one. That is a tricky one. So I don't know, you guys who have been studying, you are profs. You even know more than I do. If you have any examples for Sachi guns, residual risk, hey, there's the man of the hour, Vijay. Vijay, thank you very much for coming on. Vijay says the questions are very realistic. This will really help students in taking the exam coming up. Vijay, we just, not just, actually a couple of hours yet. So Vijay is our man of the hour. He was the PMP whose lessons learned we shared. So Vijay, these were the slides. We've covered your information. And I can appreciate that you as a PMP, you're taking it easy. You're taking it cool. You don't need to show up at 5 a.m. in the morning. Or is it 7 where you are? So you're in Canada. So I appreciate you coming. But we've covered your slides. So any additional gold, Vijay, that you have will be much appreciated. All right. So we were on this slide. And Vijay thinks this is a good run for your money. Listen to him. He's the man of the hour. Thank you very much, Vijay, for your 2 cents and sharing this information. All right. Reserve analysis. He says, just follow Phil. Reserve analysis is used in a number of processes. Chat into me. Where do we use reserve analysis? So Atif, if it was management reserves are typically used for those, but not contingency reserves. Contingency reserves are used for those things we have pre-identified or things we're thinking about, and that's why we bake in the contingency. All right. Robert shared some interesting one here. Secondary risk. Ice cream truck gets stuck in traffic, runs out of gas, and the ice melts. I like that, Robert. Thank you for sharing that. That's a funny one. And the kids are mad. Stakeholders picket the ice cream truck or demonstrate. Thank you very much. That's a good one. All right. So we've got determine budget, control risks, estimate activity durations. Let's find out, guys. Let's find out. Hopefully you're in better shape than I am, PMBOK-wise. Let's see what the answer is. The answers, it seems like there's quite a few. Estimate activity durations, estimate costs, determine budget, control costs, control risk. Can you repeat what you just said, Mr. Stormtrooper? I think the Stormtrooper has decided not to say much anymore. Stormtrooper?
Trooper standing by.
Well, thank God you're standing by, unlike our friends at wherever they are with all of these problems. You have anything else to say to us?
Ready for action.
Okay, ready for action. So let's do it. Let's move on to our next slide. Oh, we got control risk. How could I forget that? Control risks. So estimate activity durations, estimate costs, determine budget, control costs, control risks. Moving on, we got some gold here. All right, Trooper, that's enough. So we got James Rodriguez from the organization known as SHIP, Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. They're one of our clients, and James has been in a lot of our PMP classes. He comes in, but because he's one of the organizers, he doesn't really sit down. So he comes in, goes out. Now, knowing that the 5th edition is changing, the exam is changed to the 6th, he decided to hunker down and use all of our online resources to kill the beast. He says, I passed my PMP exam yesterday above target on all 5 categories. Thank you so much for all the coaching and training provided through Praizion and the YouTube channels. They have been instrumental in my ability to become certified. So James, I don't know if you're on, but if you're on, let us know and drop some gold for us. And I want to thank you guys for your patience with this stream, because I know it can be a little bit disruptive. So thank you for sticking with me. All right. The next one here is resource optimization techniques. It's used in develop schedule and control schedule. When we talk about optimization techniques, you know what optimization techniques you're talking about? What are those techniques? Welcome from Sri Lanka. Good to see you. Thank you very much for joining. I'm not able to see too clearly because it seems my screen has frozen, my monitor screen, but I saw that come in. So thank you very much for joining from Sri Lanka. All right, so resource optimization techniques are used in develop schedule and control schedule. Can you guys chat into me and let me know what those are? People said leveling and smoothing. Thank you very much. Which of these uses slack and float to adjust the resource profile? Which of these uses slack or float to adjust the resource profile? Is it resource leveling or resource smoothing? One of them uses just slack or float allowances, whereas the other is aggressive and doesn't care about dates. Thank you very much, Robert. Thank you very much, Sandy. The answer is indeed smoothing. Smoothing has no regard. Smoothing has regard for dates Leveling has no regard. So we're talking about making sure that the dates do not change. That is going to be smoothing. Leveling, the dates do change. The critical path could change. All right, I think we've got another one coming up here. Another question. Your firm has been awarded a contract to rebuild out part of the old freeway running through your district with a state-of-the-art low-noise asphalt. As quality is of the essence, you are concerned with a quality testing requirement. Which of the following should you consider as an input while qualitatively analyzing quality-related risks on this project? Is it Ishikawa? Is it risk response plan? Is it SWOT and brainstorming? Or is it risk breakdown structure? Give you a minute, 12 seconds, standard PMI time. Thank you for chatting that in. Thank you, Darian. Welcome, welcome. Francis, welcome, welcome to our study group, folks. Good to have you. Thank you for chatting that in. All right, so we're going to use a process of elimination here, okay? So it says, which of the following should you consider as an input? Now, when you come across questions like this, you should be able to very rapidly go through A, B, C, D and say, which is an input, which isn't. Now, if all of them are not an input, that's one thing. But if you go through them and you do find some inputs, then you might want to eliminate those that are not inputs. So, which of these is not a legitimate input in the PMBOK guide, 5th edition? Which of these is not a legitimate input? And I mean, an input, it could be in any chapter, but you know for sure this is not an input from anywhere in the PMBOK guide. Thank you. And if you could just write is not like KKIT has done, that would be great. So B is not. Risk response plan, KKIT is absolutely correct. It does look like it could be, but it's not, so I'm going to cancel it. There is no explicit risk response plan mentioned. I was having a conversation with one of my buddies, the risk doctor. If you haven't checked out the risk doctor's channel, you might want to do that. But the risk doctor and I were having this conversation, and he said, Phil, you know, have you ever seen a risk response plan? What does it look like? I said, no, I've never seen one. It's in the risk register. We came to a conclusion that that was once upon a time a term used over a decade ago in the world of the PMI, not anymore. So there's no risk response plan. Your risk responses exist in the risk register. So risk response plan is just a term used, but we know it really refers to the risk register. So it's not B for sure. Nirosh and a few others say Ishikawa is not an input. You are correct. Thank you for typing that in, and welcome, Nirosh. Thank you very much. Amjid says A and C are tools. That is correct. So the Ishikawa or the fishbone is a tool. And Amjid says C is a tool as well. So SWOT and brainstorming is a tool. So folks, the answer Amjid has chatted in is actually D. And if you go to your PMBOK guide and take a look, it is explicitly mentioned. Because what are you doing here? Don't forget, you are using this thing called a risk breakdown structure to categorize your risks. Remember that? So if you remember, in the world of the PMI, you've got these things that you do: technical risk, business risk, this risk, that risk. And that is where you put your RBS into use. Risk breakdown structure. You're using your RBS. So the answer, folks, is D, risk breakdown structure. Now, those of you who are going to stay till the end, I just want you to know I have got something for you. Now, it seems like we got some jokers here. We're going to hide this little punk, and at the same time, we're going to report them to Google. And it seems like they target live streams that are doing sensible things to disrupt. So I'm not even putting you in timeout. I'm going to send you straight to Google. And that's that. All right. So let's move on, folks. Sorry for these disturbances. Risk audits, definitely one you want to look into. A risk audit is used in the process known as... Thank you, Hassan. Appreciate you, man. Thank you, Vijay. Yeah, these folks need to go study the code of ethics. Risk audits is a tool and technique used in, drumroll, deep myth. I think you are correct. Thank you very much. Control risks. So in control risks, that's where risk audits happen. Now, I want you guys to chat into me. Thank you, Adibol. I appreciate that. Amjid, thank you very much. Can you guys chat into me the difference between a risk audit versus a risk reassessment? What is the difference between a risk audit and a risk reassessment? I want you to give me your own version. Give me your own version. Elsa, if you're still on, I would like you to shoot me an email with your lessons learned. I want to drop that goal that you've got for these folks next week. I'm going to trust you to do that, just like we did for Vijay this week. What is the difference between risk audit versus risk reassessment? Reassessment is for current risks, says Ashish. So let me give you the short and sweet version. Risk audit, you're trying to make sure that your risk approach was effective. Risk reassessment is for current risk to ensure are those right where we left them or not. So Ashish has a point in saying reassessment is for current risk, because you've got risks that have already happened, and your risk audit can take place to ensure that your approach was successful. Thank you everyone for chatting in. Your chats are now just coming in. So Alejandro says, risk audit, verify the effectiveness of a risk response that has, for risk that has occurred. That's true. Amjid says, audit means to see if risks identified actually happened, and risk reassessment is for doing a qualitative and quantitative risk analysis. Very correct, very good. So you do your risk reassessment to make sure the risks are right where you left them in terms of probability, impact, EMV, what have you. Sandy says, audit, effectiveness of process and risk response. Good. Reassessment, re-rank and look for new. You guys know it. Very good. I'm so glad to see that you're not going to fall into the trap of being confused about risk audit versus risk response. So good job for bringing your A game. All right, risk categorization. This is what we talked about in the previous question. So we used our risk breakdown structure to do this. We do this as part of perform qualitative risk analysis. Another question. Your firm has been awarded a project to carry out a significant clean energy initiative. As your project progresses, your team begins functioning as an interdependent team, getting work done and progressing at a good pace. What does this describe? They are in performing where the team functions interdependently. This is storming where the team functions interdependently. They are informing where the team functions interdependently, or they are in norming where the team functions interdependently. Where are they? They begin functioning as an interdependent team. This is why Mr. Vijay was telling you folks in his lessons learned that you got to know Mr. Tucky's ladder. Mr. Tucky the Tucker Tuckman. You got to know Mr. Tuckman's ladder so that you can kill that part on the exam when it shows up, because it is going to show up. So on page 276, they usually just say Tuckman, but it's actually Tuckman and Jensen in 1977. They use this model to describe team development. So the word independent and interdependent should not be mixed up, folks. Independent, interdependent, we want to make sure we don't mix those up. But if you read page 276 and performing, it says teams that reach the performing stage function as a well-organized unit. They are interdependent and work through issues smoothly and effectively. Norming, it says, in the norming phase, team members begin to work together and adjust their work habits and behaviors to support the team. The team learns to trust each other. So before they can get to being interdependent, they first of all have to trust. Trust, interdependence. All right? So the answer to this is A. All right? So the answer is A. Okay, let's move on to our next one. So I think I lost a bunch of chats. I think I lost a bunch of chats. So let me take a look and make sure I didn't miss any important chats. It's working now? Okay. Thank you, Nirosh. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, folks, for letting me know these things. Appreciate it. All right. Well, it seems like it's daylight now. That is Mr. Sun trying to tell us, hey, you guys need to go get some studying done. We're going to be rounding up in a little bit. But anyway, I was saying before that disconnection that risk data quality assessment is where you're assessing your risk data. And if your risk data is not pure, not clean, corrupt, full of biases, riddled with biases, then you need to collect fresh data. But it takes an expert eye to know risks that are, risk data that is not good data. And that is why as you collect your risk data, you want to make sure you use. All right, looks like we're back. I think I spoke too soon because it's not completely back. Now it does look like it is back. So folks, thank you for sticking with me. There is an issue with streaming, definitely a streaming issue. Thank you. And I'm monitoring it so I can see when I'm off. All right. So Anand typed in an interesting comment. Anand typed in, third party would be doing audit. Internal team would be doing assessment. That's a great way of looking at it. Now, there's some firms where they don't even have the budget to do anything risk related, so the team is doing everything from audit to what have you. You know, they're doing the audit and the reassessment. All right. Some funny information if you can read with social media these days. I'm not going to read your comment, but it is so funny. Hassan. Oh, dear, dear, dear. That's funny. Maybe she got a gig. Maybe that's how she made her millions, Hassan. All right. So risk data quality assessment, that's that. Let's move on. So talking about okay. So I'm not sure if this thing is rolling or not. It seems like it's just in suspended animation. Okay, now it's back. Okay. Don't worry, we'll get done shortly. We'll be able to move on. So I was asking you guys where this thing is used, and it's used in which process? This is a tool and technique that is used in, thank you, Robert. So this is used in which process? Is it used in plan risk management? Is it used in perform quantitative? Is it used in, Robert, that's a safe answer. It's used in risk analysis. Which risk analysis? Perform qualitative, good job, perform qualitative. So risk probability and impact assessment, we need a probability and impact matrix to do a risk probability and impact assessment. All right. So moving on, this is an important link I'm about to drop, folks. So get ready to look in the meeting description. I am going to chat this link in. And I think you might be quite happy about this link because we got to use everything we got against all right, folks. Are we back? Doesn't look like we are. If you go to the description, I think we're back now. So if you go to the description, right, do a refresh, go to the description, you'll see a new link that I have included. Go to that link and download what you see in there and let me know that you've actually got it because this is an important one. If you are taking the PMP exam for real, then you definitely want to download what is in that link that I just sent. So take a look at the link, do the refresh, but look for that first link, that Google link. Go there, and I want you guys to, especially the text file. I'm dropping some gold for you there, folks. That is pure gold, what I dropped there. You definitely want to download that. And if you're new to this whole PMP exam process, definitely take a look. That's all I'm going to say. Definitely take a look. And I want you to go to those links and watch them in their entirety. Everything in those, there are 3 links in a text file. Those are going to help you. They're going to help calm your nerves. So Vijay, I don't know if you're on the call, Vijay, but if you're still here, can you check those links out as well and tell everyone the importance or how valuable that would be for them? Are you taking a look at those folks? The flashcards is just the tip of the iceberg. It's the text. The text. It's not working. I think some people got it, Vijay. You were not able to open the links? The links didn't work for you? You need to copy and paste them in, I think, and then it should. Did anyone else have a problem with, oh, not this link, sorry, this is not the link. This is a reminder to share the link. So I'm sorry if I didn't make myself clear. You need to go into the description of the meeting because YouTube will not let me share the link as is. So you have to go into the description of the meeting, which means you would have had to refresh your browser because I only added it, if you get what I mean at that point. All right. I hope you are able to get there. Did everyone get it? Because I really want you to know what is coming. I want you to get an idea of the interface. I want you to know what it's all going to look like. No, it's not even, yeah, so that's the problem. Let me put it here. We got some crazy sick little punks running around YouTube trying to do havoc on meetings like this where people want to get stuff done. You know? Crazy people. Yeah. All right, taking care of that sucker. All right, I'm glad that they're working. We got a lot of people trying to. So Darian, it's there in the description. So if you are on YouTube, on your computer, you need to scroll down to the bottom, and it's right there where it talks about what the meeting is or what the video is about. It's right there in the description. If you are on your phone, you need to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and then there's usually an arrow on the right. You click on the arrow on the right, and then you should be able to see the meeting description. All right? I have also chatted it in. Can someone help anyone that doesn't have it? Oh, the text file is not working. Is the text file link working for you? Thank you, Robert. All right. Thank you, you AgriTube. You AgriTube. So the text file isn't working for you? Let me go there and take a look because I was in there last night taking a look. So if you copy, you need to copy what is in the text file, and then you need to go to your browser, and then you need to hit enter, and then you should be able to see it. So I don't know why it's not working. Okay, Adrian, good to see you. Thank you for joining us today. So I think it's letting me chat some of the actual text bits and pieces. So let me just go ahead and do that, and then you guys can do what you will and check it out. But so I'm hoping. YouTube is not letting me. See, YouTube doesn't like this stuff. That's why I don't type it in. Check those links out anyway. If you copy and paste, they should work. All right? So we're going to get done here very shortly. Those of you who have not downloaded the first bits and pieces, also take a look at the second link, also in the meeting description. That will help you. All right, we're moving on. We've already talked about risk reassessment. We had lots of great chats. Lots of people told us the differences between risk reassessment and risk audit. So we're going to move on from there. Risk urgency assessment. It's used in perform qualitative risk analysis. And this is where we assess risks that we need to act on today. Because if we don't act on them today, they're going to get worse. If we don't take care of the risk now, they could become 10 times bigger. So there's an urgency to act on it. Or if we don't act on them now, they're going to happen. So risks that are near term may be more urgent than risks that are far term. And risks that could grow arms and legs, additional arms and legs, we want to take care of them now. And we do that in perform qualitative risk analysis, okay? Moving on, rolling wave planning. It's used in defined activities. Rolling wave planning is a type of what? Rolling wave planning can be said to be a type of what? A type of what? Rolling wave. Thank you very much, Sandy. That's the answer I was looking for. Thank you, Rohini. Thank you, everyone else. Andy's still on. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Francis. Appreciate you guys. Awesome. All right. Moving on. Quick one for you. Take our mock exams. Just ask Andy and anyone else who has taken the mocks. They help you a whole lot. So if you haven't taken our mocks, take our mocks. But hold on, I've got something for you. Those of you who want to get the audio digest, 18 hours of audio. I don't know about you, but for me, I learn a lot by audio. All right? No problem, Andy. Hey, you're the man of the hour. You're one of my champions. If you've watched my video about my PMP champs, you see I mentioned Andy and that crazy tool that he came out with. So those of you that want to get the audio digest, if you go to Praizion.com, we've got it at a ridiculous amount, only for today. Only for today. Actually, not for today, only for this meeting. So as soon as I'm off here, give it about a couple of hours, you're not going to see this deal anymore. This deal is so ridiculous, I don't even want to mention it on air. But if you click on the link during the meeting, you'll see how ridiculously reduced this has been for anyone who wants to get it, okay? So, thank you, Vijay. Thank you very much, guys, for your support. I've got one more success story for you. One more success story, but I really wanted to stress Kim. I know Kim wants to get that today. Anyone else who wants to get it, get it, get it, get it, because it's going to go away, all right? We've got another PMP champ, Nicole, and Nicole is one of those students that has taught me a lot, because Nicole took our mock exam not long ago. Didn't get the best of scores, but took it again. And still didn't get the best of scores, but she has been taking mocks for a while. There is power in the process of repetition. Long story short, I didn't even know she was ready. I said, hey, are you going to be taking the exam soon? And she sends me an email and she says, guess what? I passed my exam today. That was yesterday evening. And I owe it all to you. Without your mock exams, I never would have passed. You provide an excellent service, and you, sir, are wonderful. How kind of her. Now, folks, one more reminder. If you want mock exams that give you reality, that tell you you are ready or not, like a 70, I'm ready. Less than a 70 is a red immediately. But we have this mock exam here. It's called Realistic 200 Question Mock. Instead of wasting time taking namby-pamby Mickey Mouse mock exams, you might want to take this one. So your investment for the PMP exam for many people is thousands. This is only $49.99. If you took family to get some Happy Meals, you'd probably even spend more. So get that 200 question mock, test out your ammo, and if you don't get a 70, you need to be concerned. This is the best litmus test. The best litmus test that I know, because it tells us 70, proceed. Less than 70, be cautious and close your gaps. Anyway, enough said about that. So Nicole, like I said, she exemplifies the process of repetition, okay? If you are up for a challenge, this is not for the faint. This is the mock exam that I want you to take this morning. As soon as we're off the call, I want you to be typing in tinyurl.com/PM This is the link I want you guys to go to when we're done, okay? But before you do this, I want to make sure that I answer any questions or concerns. All right, so that's the link. Might want to write it down. tinyurl.com/PMP micro. I'm sorry if I misread it. PMP micro. It's a PMP micro mock, hence PMP micro. If you can get a 70 in this, I doff my hat to you. If you're one of our students, you might have seen this before, so don't get too excited if you get an 80. Maybe you've seen the questions before. But if you've never seen the questions and you kill it with a 70, you are a force to be reckoned with. And Pimpy, where are you? Come out of where you're hiding, you funny exam.
Yes, what do you want from me?
I want you to know that anyone who gets a 70, Pimpy, they're coming for you. You're gonna be pulverized, Pimpy.
Yeah, let's see. Nobody can get a 70 on this one.
Is that what you think? I want you guys to teach Pimpy a lesson and show him, just like the stormtrooper, you can take care of him.
For action.
Ready for action, Pimpy.
Let's move.
They're coming for you, Pimpy. So folks, with that, I am on to our Q&A, and if there is no question, if you want to teach Pimpy a lesson, tell him that you're coming for him and he's a lightweight. Why don't you go to that link? Trooper standing by. They're coming for you, Pimpy, I'm telling you.
Yeah, let's see.
Okay, I'm warning you, you're going to be pulverized. Get out of the way, let them see the link. All right, so go to that link, folks. That's it for today. I am done. Sandy says, what does a negative float mean? So K-Kid, open up the, oh, you cannot open up the text file? Can somebody help K-Kid by copying the text in the text file and putting it in? So Sandy, a negative float means that you're running late and you're in trouble. Amjid says, what is a tip for workaround? For workaround? Ashish says, Phil, do you have your ITTO science book online? Yes, it's online. So let me see if I can pull it up for you, but it's there. So if you go to Praizion, I believe, K-Kid, just ask someone. I'm sure someone's going to help you out with that link. So if you go to the, is it the tools and techniques? Hang on. I'm going to send it to you right now, Ashish, and anyone else who needs it. So the PMP IQ test workbook, I think that's what you're asking about. So let me copy the link into chat if it lets me. Sometimes Google doesn't let me do stuff because it thinks I'm trying to spam people I'm teaching. I don't know, it's funny. All right, so let's see. Let me give that to you. So Ashish, to make this easy for you, I would like you to go to the link tinyurl.com/AshishPMP. And if you go to that link, you will be able to see what you're asking for. Okay, Ashish? tinyurl.com/AshishPMP. Go to that link and you will be able to find the PMP IQ test. All right. So the sample flashcards. So if Anand, if you go into the chat at the meeting description, you've got two links there right now. One is the Hustlers link and the other is the Google link. It's in the Google link. Go there, you'll find it. Okay. Amjid, for those who have 1 week left. So Amjid, for those who have 1 week left, I would suggest that you watch my PMP exam tomorrow video. It's out there on YouTube as well. I'm going to copy the link in to the chat, and hopefully that will give you some ideas. Pretty much if your exam is tomorrow or in a week's time, that's what you should do. But a big one that many people don't do is read the glossary. I would highly recommend reading the glossary, going through the glossary with a fine-tooth comb. Absolutely, Robert, you're most welcome. So what should we memorize for the exam? Any brain dump? So I'm going to show you what Vijay shared in his lessons for those of you that were not here at the beginning. But Vijay had some very good points, and some of the points he had: start dumping the following: formulas for EVM, number of communication channels, present value and future value formulas, triangular beta. You know when to use triangular? Do you? Do you know when to use beta? Triangular is when you've got no clue. It's a new technology, never been done before. Beta, you use beta when you can leverage the 4M, the most likely, because you've been there, done that. New technology, beta is for stuff you're familiar with, that is, you know, old technology or stuff you're aware of. All right, beta distribution and standard deviations and variance, that kind of stuff. P minus O over 6, P minus O over 6 squared, all that stuff. Tuckman's ladder, also a very important one for you to know. Communication models, decode, transmit, encode, acknowledge, feedback. Don't get mixed up, he says. And yeah, that's it, pretty much it for the brain dump that Vijay recommended. Vijay, if you're still on and you've got any other ideas, Andy, if you've got ideas, Elsa, Rajan, if you've got ideas, please share them as far as what people should memorize, what people should, you know, hone in on. That will be cool. All right. So I saw a chat come in about something not working. Is the YouTube link not working? How good should we be at ITTO in terms of memory? So yes, Sachi Guns, this is the link for the micro exam. Amjid, for the ITTOs, you need to know what they are, you know? So let me ask you a few questions, Amjid, to kick the tires. You just got done with a variance analysis. Which process do you think you should do next? You just got done with a product analysis. Oh, I'm so sorry, the password. Let me share that. I'm very sorry for not sharing the password. That was not intentional. The password is PMP student, but it probably worked out that I didn't give it to you because I have your full attention. Ha ha ha. PMP student, all lowercase, all right? Thank you, Kim. Deep Myth, thank you for asking. This was not deliberate. I just forgot. It's PMP student. All right? PMP student, all lowercase. Let me change the color to make sure everybody can see this. PMP student. Let's make it black ink. Put it up here. Password is PMP student, all lowercase, all lowercase. All right, PMP student, all lowercase. Kim isn't playing games. Kim wants to pulverize the exam. All right, it seems like I have been missing an awful lot of chats. Back gone, back gone, back gone. Don't you just love YouTube? Goodness gracious. For anyone who needs to get that information, it's tinyurl.com/PMP. Mike again the stream. I think YouTube is trying to say that I'm hogging all the stream and I should get off. So, oh dear. Okay. So let me make sure I'm on before I start speaking again. Okay, so Ichu, you said, morning Phil, is the 18-hour audio recorded from the DVD revision training? No, it's not. This is unique audio. Unique audio. Thank you, Andy, for chatting that in. Andy says, don't forget to brain dump all those various contract types and understand which one is better in different circumstances. Very good point. Very good. Yeah. Any guides to answer what comes next type questions? So what comes next, you definitely don't want to choose tell your boss. What comes next type questions are usually something that would help solve the problem. And when it's not what would help solve the problem, it's something that makes the most sense. I would use process of elimination a lot. If you're not using process of elimination a lot, you're doing the wrong thing, folks. You want to use process of elimination as much as possible on this exam, because this exam is crazy. All right, I'm going to shut up and get out of your way and let you take this exam. Okay. Hassan says, can you give us ITTO tables for different knowledge areas? So there's a particular table we have that unfortunately is only available to our students because PMI have got, you know, their copyright on it. And we've been told, except students have signed up for our main course, registered with the PMI, we are not allowed to give that information. Except you are signed up for our 35 contact hour course, registered with the PMI, then at that point we can share our table, the ITTO table. Page 78. Page 78? Oh, Vijay's talking about something else. Okay. I missed some chats. I'm sorry. I'm missing chats here. Do you recommend students dumping project documents and PM plans? So it is important that you got those plans in your head, though. So project documents, again, I think we actually did some sessions for project documents, so you need to get all this stuff in your head. Okay? I hope I've answered all your questions. Is there any other question before I hop off? Sandy says, difference between procurement performance reviews in control, inspections and audits in control, and procurement audits close. Very good. So procurement performance reviews is a review of how well the seller is doing. Inspections and audits is checking to make sure they're complying with your contract, quality standards, things that they've promised. So you want to show up suddenly and do a site inspection. Those happen quite a lot. So it's in control, but in the world of the seller, it's actually in their executing. So it's actually a form of quality assurance, but in the world of procurement, it gets very muddy and complicated. All right, so inspections and audits, you're showing up, you're auditing the site, you're auditing the process. You know, for example, one of my students works in a company where they do interiors for airplanes, and the clients sometimes just have an inspection and audit. They just show up, and if they've got people in their multi-million, tens and hundreds of millions of dollars of aircraft, then they get slapped with a warning or something. So these inspections and audits are where people show up ad hoc and check to make sure you're doing what you should as a seller. Procurement audits, this is in closing. This is where you make sure that you're gleaning the lessons learned. You want to know what went well, what didn't go well on this procurement. So that's your procurement audits. Dolores says, how much is the 35 hours for the 6th edition? So the 6th edition 35 hours is not out yet, but you can get our free 4 hours. The first 4 hours are free on YouTube, Dolores. So if you go to our YouTube channel and go to the playlist, you can find a few videos based on the 6th edition. Sachigun says, if you guys have any query about PMI audit, oh, thank you, Sachiguns. Can you shoot us your experience information, and then we can cover that next week, because a lot of people are going through that. Andy also went through that, I believe. Would questions be in similar fashion as PMP micro? Absolutely. So PMP micro, you can get some questions definitely like that, but the exam that Andy talked about last week, the marathon mock, you definitely want to look into that one, because that will kick you into shape. Andy got a 70. Andy, what did you get on that exam? I can't remember. Andy got a 70-something. And as soon as I saw Andy's score on the marathon mock and the other mock, I knew for a fact that Andy is going to kill it. And he did. He delivered the goods. So, Dolores, we're going to make that announcement for the 6th edition. So the boot camp for the 6th edition is going to be announced, and we'll add your name to it. All right. I think YouTube is trying to tell us to pack it in. We got, I'm not sure how many questions exactly on the micro. I don't know if my, is what I'm saying going in? Hello? Okay. Not sure if it's working or not. You gotta love YouTube. Goodness. They should just make it a paid service and, improve on this thing. How many questions are on the micro, and how long will it be available through the link? I intend the micro being available for at least 7 days or more. It depends on how pulled away I am to the black hole of if the 6th edition becomes a black hole and sucks Phil in, you're not going to see any change. That link is going to be there for a while. But if the 6th edition doesn't suck me in as much, then I might change it in about a week or two. It really depends. Okay? I want to get out of the way so you guys can take your exam and see where you stand with the micro. I think you'll have fun with the micro mock, seriously. All right. Did I miss any other chats? So I was making a comment that Andy got 71 on the marathon, and as a result of that, I just knew it was all over for Pimpy. How many questions on the micro? Okay, I've answered that. Okay, 20 questions. All right. Answered all your questions. Thank you, Vijay. Thank you, everyone. I am also going to hop off. So I want to thank you for coming to Savage on Saturdays. I wanted this to be a shorter than normal meeting, and I just couldn't. You guys are too interested. All right, folks. Thank you very much, folks. Appreciate you. It's showing that I'm frozen. Okay, now it shows I'm back. So I guess I'm back now. Thank you very much. I wish you all the best in the micro mock. And K-Kid, I just got kicked off again. So I'm going to have to dig into. Thank you, Elsa. Don't forget to send us that. Stosh, thank you very much for coming and joining. All right. So it looks like I'm back. I'm going to say my formal goodbye, my formal thank you. I'll see you guys next week. And thank you for joining Savage on Saturdays. Be savage. Don't relent in hitting this thing 2 times, 3 times if you need to. And also take that Praizion mock exam. Praizion.com. Sign up. It's only $49.99. It will give you a great litmus test to know if you're ready or if you should hold the brakes. All right. Take care. And I'll speak to you again next week. God willing. Bye for now.